नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ 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 नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे हरे
हरे
राम
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
हरे
राम
हरे
राम राम हरे हरे
हरे
हरे कृष्ण
कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे
कृष्ण
हरे
हरे हरे।
हरे
हरे
राम
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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
So, welcome everyone. We'll continue our discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are discussing second canto. So, if she has a problem, maybe like YouTube also she can see. Otherwise, it's okay. So we are discussing the like Shukadeva Goswami is answering questions of Parikshit Maharaj. So where he has mentioned the process of the Ashtanga Yoga. Initially, after answering, he gave the process of Ashtanga Yoga. But again, after mentioning Ashtanga Yoga, he again concluded with one needs to practice Bhakti Yoga. It is the most, the Brahmaji also, after scrutinizing Vedas for 3 times, he concluded that the path of Bhakti is the most auspicious path for all the people. And by practicing this that pada bhakti, one's polluted aim of life will be purified and he will attain the Supreme Lord. And then after mentioning that in the pada bhakti, Om to worship, in order to clarify that, he gave different personalities to worship to attain different desires. But finally, he concluded that, but whatever one's desire may be, if one worships the Supreme Lord, then all his desires will be like, even if one has material desires, or if he doesn't have any material desires, or if he has a desire for liberation, he's saying that Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajeta Purusham Param. One should worship the Supreme Lord with bhakti, then his desires will be fulfilled. Or that should be the approach one should take. He is mentioning that. So after mentioning that, the how to attain that bhakti, so that bhakti will be attained by the association of the devotees. So only in the association, then he can gain that bhakti and start practicing. So, and so he gives his own example that even I even I got attracted to bhakti, even though I am liberated. So any people can start practicing bhakti. So like that he gives. So in this way, he says that one should be practicing bhakti. Like that he concludes. So when the Sukadeva Goswami in this way, he elaborated in 2.5 chapters. He also described Ashtanga Yoga. He also described Devatas worshipping and Karma Kanda and all the things, but concluded his topic with one should practice Bhakti Yoga. So Shaunakadi Rishis, hearing Shukadeva Goswami speaking like this to Parikshit Maharaj, they starts again inquiring from Sutta Goswami further questions. So they encourage Sutta Goswami and ask further question. So for a while asking, they say that Shukadeva Goswami, he very nicely he has explained the things. What further questions Parikshit Maharaj has asked from him, had asked, and we are very much eager to hear this discussion between Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadeva Goswami. So therefore, please please discuss, and in the topics of in the discussion with devotees, the Harikatha will be relishable. So Harikatha should be discussed in the assembly of devotees. So please therefore narrate this. And they say that this Parikshit Maharaj is such a great devotee that even in his childhood, he used to worship the deities. Generally, in childhood, people will be engaged in so many activities like playing and etc. But this Parikshit is used to imitate the worship of Krishna. So, as a family deity, like his parents were all devotees. So, they used to worship the deities of Krishna. So, as an imitation, he also used to worship deities of Krishna in his home. In this way, from his childhood onwards, he is a devotee of Krishna. So, therefore, he is like very elevated person, like that they are glorifying. The same glorification will also later on it will be applied to even Vidura also. Even Uddhava also it is applied. Like Uddhava also from childhood onwards he was absorbed in worshipping the Lord. So it's like that is also like if someone is Parikshit Prahlad Maharaj in 7th canto, he says that Kaumaram Acharet Prajnyo Dharman Bhagavataniha. One should start practicing Bhagavad Dharma from the age of Kaumara. Kaumara means 5 years. So that means he's suggesting like from childhood onwards, if one starts practicing, those samskaras will be very, very strong and he will be very nicely go through life and achieve the perfection. So, and even Srila Prabhupada, the Pondaracharya of ISKCON, in his childhood, he is also like his father is also a devotee of Krishna. So in his childhood, he used to like seeing the Rath Yatra festival in Puri. In his home also, they used to conduct Rath Yatra festival as a child. So small Rath Yatra festival. And they also have their family deities of Radha Krishna. They used to worship. So in this way, they are absorbed. So, and also like that, even Prabhupada Guru Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also from his childhood onwards he is worshipping the Lord. So they are glorifying that Parikshit Maharaj is such a person that he is always absorbed in worshipping the Lord. And even Shukadeva Goswami, who is the son of Vyasadeva, he is also great devotee and as well as full of transcendental knowledge. So basically, by their combination, there must be glories of the Supreme Lord must be flowed. So please narrate that discussion. In this way, they encourage. So here, the it is mentioned that in general, sometimes there are different ways of instructing people. So it is mentioned that Vedas, they may so sometimes the Vedas may instruct in a as a master, and Puranas, other Puranas, they may instruct like a friend, and Kavya, like Kavya is like poetic narrations. They may instruct someone like a just like a beloved instructs a beloved his beloved person. So like there is like a tone is different, right? Sometimes a master will instruct his servant in a different tone as an instructive way, but a friend may use so many different like in a convincing way, in an argument way, like that he may instruct. And sometimes a lover may very pleasingly with ornamental words, so he may present. So the different ways of instructing a person. So Bhagavatam is said to be a combination of these three. Like it sometimes instruct very in a friendly way, and so that like giving reasons, arguments, and sometimes it instructs in a very kavya, means poetic way, giving nice ornamental words, and sometimes it also instructs in a like a, as a master instructs his servant, like in a like sometimes heavy way, like chastising, like that. So here, Shaunakadi Rishis, after hearing this glorification from Sukadeva Goswami words, they want to encourage Sutta Goswami. So they present the present the path of bhakti in a in an instructive way. Like if someone doesn't do, then they compare them to some negative thing, so that it's like highlighted. So sometimes this kind of a presentation is also there in Bhagavatam. So Shukadeva Goswami says that generally the life of people is always going away just by rising of the sun and setting of the sun. Ayur harati vaipumsam udyan nastam cha yannaso. So just by rising of the sun and setting of the sun, everyone's life is getting over. But tasyarte kshanonita uttama shloka vataya, except for the people who are dedicating their life to hear the glories of the Uttama Shloka. Uttama Shloka is Hari, Krishna. So one who is spending their time in hearing the word pastimes of the Lord, their time is not their time is not going away. But all other people who are wasting their time, that's like their life is like going away. So why? Because one person, if he is hearing Harikatha, so he is preparing himself for eternal life. So that is like transcendental, eternal life. So therefore, his life is completely utilized. But others, if they are not spending time for this, then it's like anyway, somehow or other, that life will be going over, and the life will be over. So therefore, best utility of time is to spend time in Harikatha. That's what they are saying. Otherwise, they say that the Tarva Kimna Jivanti, like trees are also living. So there may be long life, there may be there, but still trees simply just live there. So do the trees live? Or there is something like a blacksmith, sometimes he uses some particular kind of instrument which is like expands and contracts. So this is like compared to a breathing. So they are also breathing, if breathing is compared. And even the animals, they also eat and have sex life. So if only human beings do only these things, they are also compared to these other things. So human beings needs to execute more. That's what they are implying. And if people, they like if, if they are not if the people who are he says that he compares that people like who doesn't care about the spiritual path, they may prize other people who are who are having these kind of mentalities. Shwa means dog, vid means hog, vidvaraha means is hog, ushtra is camel, khara is asses. So the particular mentality, basically they are comparing, they are criticizing. So basically, the dog will they all have they may have some good habits, but here the comparison is for the the negative kind of thing. So when a dog, it may always going for one place to another in search of some food. So people may also always for job for their livelihood, they may go from one place to another place, always asking for something. And Vidvara hog is compared to doesn't have any discrimination for eating anything, it will eat. So if someone executes like that, that is compared to hog. And camel, it's like when it is eating thorns, its own blood will come and it will be relishing that its own blood. So it eats thorns, and thorns will produce blood from his tongue, and it relishes his own thing. So similarly, if people like their own if they are enjoying their own strength, their own like if they are enjoying sex life or their own blood, they are compared to animals. And asses, they ass is an animal who work for a washerman for few grass, although it is available everywhere, but still as work for a washerman day and night to get few grasses. Similarly, people who don't care for their own ultimate benefit, but simply keep on working, they are compared to disasters. Like that, if one is not people who are if one is not they glorify these kind of people if they don't hear the glories of the Supreme Lord, like that they mentioned. And they compare, like if someone is not hearing Hari Katha or Krishna Katha, they are saying their ear holes are compared to holes of snakes. If someone is not glorifying the Lord, their tongues are compared to frog's tongue, and their upper body, although it may be having so many crowns, that means someone may be a king or everything, but it ultimately a heavy burden if it is not bowing before the Supreme Lord. And even if hands are decorated with so many glittering bangles, it is like a decoration of a dead man if they are not engaged in Lord Hari's service. And one may have eyes, but if even a peacock feather also has eyes, like it resembles eyes, but it does not, it is really not a eye. So similarly, one may have eyes, but if it is not seeing the forms of the Supreme Lord in temples, so they are compared to eyes in a peacock feather. And if someone has legs, but that is not going to holy places, they are like compared to tree trunks. Tree trunks also have legs, but it will not move anywhere. So actually, they are also not kind of moving. And a person is considered like a dead body if he is not acknowledging the devotees of the Lord and worshipping, is not receiving the dust from the pure devotees, and also not smelling the tulasi from the Lord's feet. So that person is compared to like a dead body. And the heart is compared to steel framed, like even after chanting the Lord's name, if it is not changing. So these are all the symptoms they have mentioned for people, so that to encourage, take shelter of Krishna Kada and take shelter of the process of bhakti, so that like otherwise it is like their life they are getting wasted. So out of compassion, Shaunaka Rishis, they are mentioning that one should take shelter of the path of bhakti. So this they compare that heart is like a steel framed, that even after chanting holy name, if it is not changing, that means when we are engaged in the path of bhakti, when we are chanting or engaged in path, there should be some change in heart. Like there should be some anarthas will go away and purity will come. So that is called as change in heart. And so if we are committing offenses, then there it may take little longer time to change. But after like slowly when we progress in the path of bhakti, the heart should be like compared to a butter. So like it will be having lot of feelings, and it's like it will become very smooth. So that should be the goal of uh, practicing bhakti. So bhakti is a process of, one can say, the process of heart basically. So it's like developing fine subtle feelings towards the Lord and as well as all other living entities. So but if those feelings and those things are not developing and the heart is not becoming soft, that means somewhere we are committing offenses. So one should rectify that and practice the path of bhakti so that the heart will become very, very soft. So that's what they are encouraging here. So therefore, please continue speaking the discussion between them, Harikatha, what they discussed. Like that they asked. Then the Sudha Goswami again started describing the what conversation that happened. So Parikshit Maharaj, he heard uh, all those words from Shukadeva Goswami and understood that the process of bhakti he needs to practice. So he completely he detached himself from all the worldly things. So he started meditating on Krishna. It is mentioned that these are he could detach himself from, these are the things that he could detach. Atma Jaya Sutagara Pashu Dravina Bandhushu Rajye Chavikale Nityam Virudham Mamatam Jaho. So he has mamata, like the attachment, mamata, Virudham Mamata. It is like generally people will have strong attachment for these things. It is very, very difficult to uh, conquer these attachments, Jaho. But he gave up. So what are all those things? Atma. So Atma refers to body. So one will have like strong attachment to body. So but spirituality, it implies it suggests that one is not his body itself. He is a soul who is living in body, and he is not himself body. So therefore, giving up that attachment to body itself is a very, very uh, tough thing, very difficult to conquer, to give up that attachment to body, because Parikshit Maharaj was given information that in 7 days he has to give up that body. So, but he was able to give up that attachment to body. So, because he could understand that he is not that body, he is a soul, eternal principle. So, he could give up that attachment to body, and the things in connection with the body are the rest of the things. Jaya is wife, Suta is son, Agara is the palace or home, and Pashu is horses and elephants are Pashu. So in general, in modern day, we can say the Pashu is like the cars or any the vehicles that we have, because previously these horses and elephants used to carry. Now our vehicles are carrying. So people who, like in general, they have a lot of attachment to vehicles also. Dravina is wealth, and Bandhushu to the relatives, and Rajya, the one's area of influence, Rajya is. So uh, in general, these are the attachments everyone will have in this world. These are like Viruda Mamata. These are very difficult to conquer. But Parikshit Maharaj, he was able to conquer all these attachments and he started asking questions. So then he was completely engaged his thought on Krishna, and because although death is approaching for him, still he is not attached to even dharma the kama principles. He is completely wanted to fully meditate on Krishna and attain love for Krishna. So in that situation, he is asking this question. So he is saying that you you have spoken nicely the goal. What I need to do. So this katha, this Harikatha is actually making. I'm actually coming out of my ignorance and coming what should be my goal. So please narrate these topics and please narrate how the Supreme Lord he has created this whole universe. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking the questions like we know that Krishna, the Parikshit Maharaj has lived with Krishna. Means lived means he has known the pastimes of Krishna. Means he has grown up knowing the glories of Krishna. But when he is asking Shukadeva Goswami, first thing he was asking is, please narrate how this whole creation was created. So how all this creation happened. Supreme Lord executes his power and created this whole universes. So these are all very difficult, very inconceivable even for the devatas to understand. So these are all acting in this world, and he exerts Supreme Lord exerts his energies, and through those energies, and he himself comes to maintain this world, and again he wind up this material world just like a player. So this is like very inconceivable, very difficult subject. So please explain how he does this. So basically, he's asking that how this whole material world is created and how it is being maintained and how it is getting annihilated by the power of the Supreme Lord. So please narrate this. And all these activities of the Lord are wonderful and even inconceivable for even great personality, great learned scholars. So please narrate these things. Whether the Supreme Lord he acts alone or in conjunction with material nature, he acts. Please narrate all these doubts. You are as good as the Supreme Lord because you are a great devotee of the Lord. So therefore, you please narrate. So in this way, he asked a question about the creation, maintenance, and destruction of these universes. So basically, this second canto, which we are discussing, it gives the narration of the creation pastime, like how the Lord has created. And as the Bhagavatam goes, it slowly narrates the incarnations of the Lord, stories about the incarnations. And then finally in 10th canto, it narrates the sweet pastimes of Lord Krishna. But in order to appreciate the sweet pastimes of Krishna, like one may hear, like, oh, Yashoda, Mother Yashoda bound Krishna with rope. So it may, like, if one doesn't know the glory of that person, who is that Krishna, one may take, oh, he is like some ordinary person and some ordinary lila. In our household also these leelas will happen. So one may not completely appreciate that leela, but when knows the glory of Krishna after going through all these chapters, all these cantos, how great this personality is. And when that time when one hears, oh, Mother Yashoda is binding that personality who has created all these universes, who is the cause of even our own life, who is the cause of our own senses being working, and so that personality is being chased by a simple lady and he is being bound by a rope. So at that time, when we hear that, we will appreciate that pastime. So that Krishna Leela, although it seems very ordinary, in order to appreciate that all these topics of creation, all the different incarnations of the Lord, how he dealt with Hiranyakashipu as Narsingadev, how he dealt with Ravana as Lord Ram, and all these Varahadev. So all these pastimes will come narrating the glory of that person. So first topic, in order to, because for conditioned soul, we are very much related to this world. So we will not be able to directly appreciate the glories of the person. If someone narrates directly some pastimes of Krishna, they may think that, oh, some boys activities are going, but we very much in connection with this nature, this prakriti and this our body. So when topics are narrated in relation to our body and our nature, we will be able to connect how the Lord is acting everywhere. So that's why Bhagavatam initially starts with this discussion, creation and Visarga. Visarga is basically the further creation by Brahmaji of all the living entities, how they are created. And creation basically describes how this whole universe, along with all the elements, have come and how they are assembled. So those are all the part of creation. We will discuss that. So when Parikshit Maharaj had asked this question, Shukadeva Goswami, he starts answering his question. So, but before answering question, he offers obeisances to the Supreme Lord. So, like previously, when Parikshit Maharaj asked, he immediately started answering the questions. But now, after hearing that conclusion again, when he asked, so he starts offering praise to the Supreme Lord and then starts describing Srimad Bhagavatam. So, in general, the prayers are the prayers of Srimad Bhagavatam, or in general, a person's any prayers, they like before starting any discussion, and when some offers prayers, we are invoking the blessings of the Lord, so that our discussion, like both the speaker and the hearer, will be purified, and the presence of the Lord can be invoked, blessings. And also, when someone is meditating on the prayers offered by great personalities like Shukadeva Goswami, they convey a lot of truths in it. So they themselves contain lot of truths related to this world and the Supreme Lord, and also they convey some particular moods the particular speaker is having towards the Lord. And when we meditate on that prayer, that particular mood or that particular love that devotee has towards the Lord will also be injected to us. So that's why it is like important to also meditate on the prayers offered by great personalities. So he says in his prayers, in starting, he mentions that I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Lord, who, for the sake of creation, accepted the three modes, and he created this whole world. And within his body, he, like all the living entities reside at the time of destruction. And so therefore, I offer obeisances to the Supreme Lord, and he is very inconceivable for the people to understand Durvibhavya. It is very difficult. And he is the one who liberates the pious people, who delivers all the pious people their distresses. He liberates pious devotees, and destroys the impious people, or like paritranaya sadhuna vinachaya cha dushkritam. Dushkritam means one who is doing wrong activities, he destroys them. And for the transcendentalists, he awards their particular destination based on their eligibility. And he further offer obeisances that I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Lord, who always associates with the members of the Yadu dynasty, and he is the enjoyer both in this material world and spiritual world. He enjoys in his own abode in the spiritual sky, and no one is equal to him, and because he is like very, like his opulences are immeasurable, like that he glorifies the position of the Supreme Lord. And he says that Yat Kirtanam, Yat Smaranam, Yadikshanam, Yat Vandanam, Yat Shravanam, Yadarhanam. Lokasya Sadyo Vidunoti Kalmasham Tasmai Subhadra Saravashe Namo Namah. I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Lord. Was hearing will create lot of auspiciousness. Was kirtan, was glorification, was remembrance, was seeing, and by offering prayers to Om, by hearing about Om, by worshipping Om, immediately the kalmashas, the contaminations will in this world will immediately go away. And I also like offer my obeisances to the Lord, the people who take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, immediately they are relieved from all attachments, and they immediately progress towards the spirituality. So I offer my obeisances to him. And all the people, they may some like different kinds of personalities are there in this world. Some people engage in tapasya, some people are engaged in charities. So all these people, they attain their auspiciousness only when they dedicate all those activities in connection with the Lord. Tapasvino Danapara Yasvino Manasvino Mantravida Sumangala Kshemam Navindanti Vinaya Darpanam. They do not attain Kshema, auspiciousness, without dedicating their activities to the Supreme Lord. Tapasvino, their tapasya should be dedicated to Krishna. Their dana should be in connection with Krishna. Their fame should be in connection with Krishna. So, like they are working for fame. So, but when they are recognized as the devotees of the Lord, they are like, then they will achieve more auspiciousness. Manasvino, the great philosophers, their thinking should be in connection with the Lord. Mantra Vida, great chanters of the Vedic hymns, they should glorify the Supreme Lord. So all these people, Sumangala, who are following the Vedic principles strictly, all these people, only when they dedicate their activities in relation to the Lord, they attain the perfection. So therefore, I offer my obeisances to the Lord who is having Subhadra Shravase, means by words hearing, it creates auspiciousness. To that Supreme Lord, I offer my obeisances. And he says, one nice verse, he says that people who are maybe coming from different lands, Kirata, Hunandra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, but means people may be like having different backgrounds, some may be pious or some may be impious. But still, if they take shelter of the persons who have taken shelter of the Lord, they immediately they get purified. So that is the glory of the path of devotional service. Like if someone follows the instructions of a pure devotee, then even though he may be, his background may be whatever it may be, sometimes it may be a nice background, it may be bad background, but still, as soon as they come in contact with pure devotee and starts following his instructions and start practicing bhakti, immediately he will be purified. So the best example here we can see is that Srila Prabhupada, and if maybe some of you may know or may not, Srila Prabhupada is the founder acharya of ISKCON. At the age of 70, he went to like America, and there he started preaching. So there, the people at that time, they are like called as hippies. They are like they are kind of rejecting the society, and they are like engaging in a lot of sinful activities, like completely not following the rules of society, and they are completely into all the wrong bad habits. But when Prabhupada, but they are looking for something higher. So at that time when Prabhupada went and gave the teachings of Krishna Bhakti, the process of bhakti towards the Supreme Lord, and about chanting and about Bhagavatam. So they took it seriously and they started following. So although they have all the bad habits, like they are completely into drugs and all other things, women and everything, but slowly when they started practicing the process of bhakti, they were completely purified and they could give up all those bad habits. And they were, in fact, they engaged in further propagating the Krishna bhakti process. And they are further engaged in removing the contamination from other people also. So in this way, Bhagavatam is giving that one who has taken shelter of the devotees, so their background may be initially the maybe may not be so pure, but if they have taken shelter of the devotees and starts practicing this process of bhakti, they will be purified immediately. So therefore, it is also one of the offense to the devotees if they criticize someone based on their background. If someone previous to coming to bhakti, they may have some sinful activities they may have committed, but after coming bhakti, they have given up. So if someone criticizes someone for their previous background, so that is like considered an offense to that person. So one should be careful. So to that, so because the Prabha Vishnave Namaha, the Lord is very, very powerful. Prabha Vishnave, he is very, very powerful Vishnu. So therefore, he can purify anyone who takes shelter of. To that Supreme Lord, I offer my obeisances. And then he further continues that he is the super soul of everyone, like he is situated in the heart of every living entity, and he is a personification of the Vedas, religious scriptures, and austerities. And he is worshipped by great personalities like Brahma and Shiva and Aja Shankaradivi. He is worshipped by even the Lord Brahma and Shankaradivi, Lord Shiva and others. So he is such a great person. So I offer my let that Lord be pleased with me. And he is Shriyapati, he is the husband of goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. Narayana is the husband of Lakshmi. Yajnapati, so all the yajnas ultimately will be dedicated to the Supreme Lord. So he is the Bhoktaram Yajnatapsam, he is the enjoyer of yajnas. Prajapati, ultimately he is the one who is maintaining all the prajas by supplying all the things necessary. Diyampati, he is the master of intelligence. All the people, Buddhir Buddhimatam Asmi, like that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So all the intelligence in this world is coming from Krishna. Lokapati is the master of all the people. And he is Dharapati, he is the Dhara, is the earth. He is the even the master of earth also. Patir Gatis Chandaka Vrishnu Satvatam. So he is the destination of the people who are his dynasties related to Krishna, Andaka Vrishni Satvata dynasties. So Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satampati. Let that Lord be pleased with me. So in this way he is glorifying the Supreme Lord. And he is also the giver of liberation. For one who is meditating on his lotus feet, he awards liberation. So therefore, all the great munis always meditate on his lotus feet. Let that Lord be pleased with me. And he is the one previously he gave knowledge to even Lord Brahma, so that Brahma could execute the task of creation. So he appeared from his mouth. So therefore, I offer my let that Lord be pleased. He is the one who gave knowledge to even Brahma. And he is the one who has created 16 divisions of like 16 divisions. 16 divisions means the different elements that we will discuss in the creation part. There are like 5 elements and 5 sense objects and 5 senses. So total total sometimes it will vary, sometimes it will be 24, sometimes it is 16. So all the things in what we are seeing or hearing or smelling, everything is being created by Supreme Lord in the different varieties. So and because of that, living entities are they are all undergoing this material existence. So let he also decorate my statements. So just like he created all these things, let he also appear in my mouth so that I can also glorify the Supreme Lord. And I offer my obeisances to the Vyasadev in the incarnation of Vyasadev. He has delineated the Vedic knowledge. So Vyasadeva is like his father as well as his guru. So he's offering obeisances to his guru so that he will be able to properly describe this knowledge. So now I will answer your question by quoting the Brahma Narada Samvada. So Parikshit Maharaj basically asked the question that please narrate how the Supreme Lord has created. So he tells that I will narrate that discussion through a discussion that happened between Brahmaji and Narada Muni. So he quotes that narration. So fifth chapter is basically that creation, how the Supreme Lord has engaged in creation. So we will briefly discuss. So this is like technical subject where the discussion of how the universe is getting created that will come. So past tense slowly will come in later chapters. These are the technical details basically it is happening. So once Narada Muni, he has approached his spiritual master or his father, and Brahmaji, who is Brahmaji, he asked this question. He offered his obeisances to Brahmaji and he asked question that you know everything, oh Brahmaji, you are the chief among all the devatas and you are the firstborn person and you know the truth regarding Atma Tattva, the soul and super soul, you know everything. So I want to understand this creation, like Yad Rupam. I want to know this universe we are seeing, like there are so many things, so many phenomena are happening. Generally, this is like very rarely asked question. In general, people they like they may they may they may never ask this question how this universe is working, how this universe is has come upon, how it is working. So, but the people like Narada Muni, he wanted to inquire this question to Brahmaji that what are the characteristics of this universe? Yad Rupam, Yad Adhishtanam, what is the background from which this universe has come? Yata Srushtam, how it is created? Yata Samstam, how it is conserved? And Yat Param, and what it is depending upon? And Yatcha, what it is composed of. So basically, all questions related to universe is asking. What is its characteristics, from where it has come, how it is created, how it will be destroyed, how it is maintained, and what it is depending upon, and what ingredients it is made up of. So please narrate all these things, like that is asking. And after asking this question, he says that actually you know whatever happened in the past, whatever present and in future, what will happen, everything you know, because just like a person, you are the creator of this universe. So therefore, you will definitely know. Someone is holding some fruit on his hand, he can describe what is there in that fruit. What like how is that fruit situated like that. Oh Brahmaji, you are the one who has created, so therefore you know everything about this creation. And you are supreme independent Lord, but uh, but I have some doubt that you also sometimes meditate some tapasya. So, but initially he says that you are supremely independent Lord who created this world. So, but I am having you are your own source of knowledge, and you are working on your own. But and just like he gives one analogy, a spider, like this analogy comes like a spider is there. Spider is initially alone. From his mouth, it creates a web, and it in that web he plays for some time, and after playing for some time, it again winds up that web through again it kinds of eats that web, and it destroys that web. So from his mouth it is creating everything, and it is playing there for some time, and again it is winding up after some time. So that is how spider works. So Narada Muni is saying that you are like that spider, you are creating this universe, and you are playing, you are residing in there, and after some time you will annihilate. So like that you are doing. But uh, so is everything you are doing out of your own, you have no other source but you, because I only see you, I don't see anything superior to you. But I sometimes get doubt that you also perform some austerity. So therefore, you are also trying to please someone. So is there someone more powerful than you? Why you are performing austerities? So like that, Narada Muni asks Brahmaji doubts. And then you please, like that when he asked, Brahmaji, he was pleased with Narada Muni's question, because Narada Muni has reminded the power of the Supreme Lord, and he wants to glorify the Supreme Lord, because Brahmaji has attained that position of creation from his father, like Vishnu. So therefore he got a chance to describe the glories of Lord. So therefore he starts narrating that how Vishnu has created this whole universe. You inspired me to meditate on the Lord's power, because through the Lord's power only he created all this world. Only out of ignorance people say that I am the independent Lord who are able to create everything. But only the Lord has empowered me to do these activities. So, and you are asking that how this creation happened. Actually, I create what is actually created by the Supreme Lord. So Supreme Lord actually he creates, but I just when he created everything, I recreate that. So it's like Lord is creating, but I am recreating. So just like he gives one analogy, just like when sun is giving the light, all other planets they reflect that sun's light and they also glow. Similarly, Lord is actually the performer of creation, everything, but I just taking strength from him, I am further creating. So therefore, I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Lord's Lord and his Maya. By his Maya only people will call me the Supreme. Actually, he is the Supreme. So in this way, Brahmaji clearly uh, clarify the position of himself and is the Supreme Lord, saying he is subordinate to the Supreme Lord. But people who are bewildered by Maya, they identify, they are absorbed in the thoughts of me and mine, and therefore they speak other, like speak nonsense. In the person talks nonsense in the sense of they don't know who is the Supreme. So in this way, he uh, clears the matter that he is not the Supreme, but Lord Vishnu is the Supreme. And then he continues to narrate how this universe got created, so that we will continue our discussion maybe next time. Someone, so this there are different ingredients are there, how this universe has come, and how we as a soul, and how different factors like Kala, everything is working in this world. So all this will be described slowly. We will continue our discussion. next time. We'll stop here. If someone wants to ask anything or otherwise we'll-
I have a question, Prabhu. Why was Kurukshetra actually chosen as the battlefield for Pandavas and Kauravas?
Yeah. So Kurukshetra is like Bhagavad Gita starts with Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, right? So Kurukshetra is famous in the scriptures as a pious place. So it is like a dharmic place. So there, this yuddha is also called as, sometimes it is called religious war, dharma yuddha. So for this activity, when it is happening in a pious place, that should be auspicious result will come. So therefore, they all choose that place. So in Kurukshetra, even Parashuram also, it is mentioned that after he annihilated the kings for 21 times, he also came and took bath there and created a nice lakes. So therefore, in Vedas, that place is said to be very auspicious place. Therefore, they have chosen. That's I think that's there in Mahabharata.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Anybody has any questions for Prabhuji?
No, Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
So maybe we
Prabhu, can you share the YouTube link once in the Bhagavatam chat?
yeah, yes, Maharaj. Share. And you can discuss with her maybe some.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Krishna.